Ashley and Todd.
Mark Meredith live for us this morning. Mark, thank you. Let's bring in the senior director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Iran program, Behnam Ben Taleblu. Sir, you send the vice president to send a message. That's the reason you make him get on a plane with his wife and go over to the Middle East. So what is that message, and is it getting through to Hamas?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. I think that message is optimism. I would rather say cautious optimism and American resolve to stay the course. No doubt it was America that was able to get all the parties together, particularly the will and the effort of the President Trump to get the agreement. Now it's all about enforcing and implementing the agreement. And just because the living hostage is back doesn't mean that any agreement is anywhere at all finished. Hamas, as you know, is delaying when it comes to giving the bodies of the hostages that are killed and those that have been deceased in Gaza. And ultimately, the million-dollar question remains, who will enforce the disarmament of Gaza and build up a potential new governing structure?
You know, Behnam, you talk about having to implement it, but how hard is it going to be to implement it? Because, you know, in the past, it's been a little difficult. So do you see this going through this time?
Well, it's going to be very hard, and I think the American administration here rightly understands how hard it's going to be, and that's precisely why they had such a high-level trip right after the high-level summit. This is going to be a bumpy road, make no mistake. Hamas is a terrorist organization that is backed by the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism, so this is not at all going to be easy. Gaza certainly does not look like it's going to be able to be rehabilitated overnight, and even in places where you have the best deals and even the full backing of the international community, like many years ago in Lebanon, disarming these terrorist organizations takes time, takes effort, and takes creativity. And that's the purpose, I think, of the vice president's trip, to remind everyone that America is still engaged and still involved.
Meantime, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is scheduled to meet with President Trump at the White House today, with the Trump-Putin summit in Budapest being delayed. Here's what President Trump said about that meeting. Listen.
I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. And I said, go to the line of battle, or the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody take some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. Two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. We haven't made a determination.
This looks to me like the latest Russian delay tactic, because there's always something new that they throw out there to try and not have a meeting, to try and not end this war. Is there any other reason why you think this meeting's off? And with regard to the Trump-Rutte meeting in the White House today, which is still on, what do you think comes out of that? Is there some escalation on our side, some major announcement on the American side that you're watching for?
Well, I would certainly keep your eyes peeled on that meeting between the president and that chief NATO official that you mentioned. But listen, this is a classic Russian tactic here, but the president is a deal maker. You could say he's the deal maker in chief, but he understands that you need to have peace through strength. And ultimately, if the Russians are back to their old tricks, which, by the way, they have been for over 2.5 years now, when it comes to Ukraine, taking piecemeal approaches, delaying, having last-minute additions, the president is going to want to make sure that all the facts on the ground are set in his favor before any kind of negotiations happen, because the president understands good deals don't just come via photo ops. They come by having all the facts on the ground on your side.
Okay, Behnam Ben, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And an illegal migrant who's become TikTok famous for following around ICE